Hi there, it's me again. Just coming back for a second episode of my crochet tutorials. This week we are going to be working on the single crochet front loop only and single crochet back loop only. And I'm going to cover some stuff that we covered last time. As well as we're going to be starting our first pattern, hopefully finish it as well. And it is a washcloth. It's this one right here. It has a nice texture using the 2 stitches that I just mentioned, and it'll be the nice regular sized washcloth, perfect for exfoliation, for all of you skin freaks out there. But this is going to be a great project to get you started on crochet, and it shouldn't be overwhelming. So I hope you enjoy this and get ready for some awesome crochet. Once, pull through one loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. When you're doing that into a chain, it will look different than when you put it into an actual stitch. So let me finish this row and I'll show you how that looks. Always remember when you do your foundation chain of chain stitches that you keep your tension regular and pretty loose. That way you don't end up getting too tight of a beginning row, and then it'll bunch up and look funny towards the end. So I'm at the end of my row. I'm just going to chain 1 again and turn. You can do that in either order. I usually chain and then turn, but in patterns and stuff it's usually turn and then chain, so it really doesn't matter. So here we go. If you remember, you see that you have the 2 parts to the stitch, the front loop and the back loop. When you do a regular single crochet, you put your hook through both of those loops. So if you see that, so you yarn over, pull through one loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. You do that again, yarn over, pull one loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops. I'm going to do that a few more times to finish this row. And the last stitch of that row, and then chain. So when doing front loop and back loop only crochet, it's just that you're working in either the front loop or the back loop only. When looking at your piece, your front loop is going to be the loop closest to you, the back loop is going to be the loop furthest away from you. So I'm going to start with 5 stitches of front loop only crochet, and then 5 stitches of back loop only crochet. So these are just like single crochet. The only difference is that you're only going through one loop. So I'll do front loop. So you only go through one loop, as you saw, yarn over, pull one loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Front loop, yarn over, pull one loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Front loop, yarn over, pull one loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops. So I'm just going to do that 2 more times now. And then I am going to show you back loop. So back loop, yarn over, pull one loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops. Again, back loop, yarn over, pull through one loop, yarn over, pull through both loops. Go through your back loop here, yarn over, pull through one, pull through both. Alright. So, as you can see, with your front loop only, you have this invisible line here. And then with back loop only, you're seeing this front loop because you're not using it. So you get this nice ridge here. If you turn it around, you get the opposite effect, where you're seeing the back loop, and then you have this kind of invisible line here. It's a really, really nice look. I'm going to show you now, start the project for the washcloth, which is right here. As you can see, there's a lot of great texture in this. It's still flexible, and it's pretty stretchy as well. And it's a pretty quick project. It only takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on your level. You will need 2 colors of yarn if you want to do the one with the border. A body color, which I'm using in the crew, and then a border color, which I'm using a chocolate brown. I really like the way that these two look together. You will also need scissors, which are just good to have around no matter what. And you're also going to need a size G crochet hook. I'm using my bamboo handled one from Susan & Bates, and I love this one because it feels great in the hand. It also gives a nice open stitch, where it's large enough that you get a nice drape, but it's also small enough that it doesn't leave giant holes in your project. So you're going to start with a foundation chain of 42 stitches. I've already done a full single crochet row of that just to get the project started. I want to be able to get through a lot of this pretty quickly. So I did a foundation row of 42 stitches, and then I single crocheted 42 single crochets into that chain row. Always start that way in this project. So now I'm going to actually start the pattern. What you're going to do is you're going to do the front loop crochet for 2 stitches, back loop crochet for 2 stitches, and then alternate that until you get to the end. And you will end up with the last 2 stitches will be a front loop crochet. So putting this through my front loop, yarning over, pulling 1 loop through, yarn over again, pull through both loops. Do that one more time there, and then switch to back loop. So back loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through another, and then do that again. So you're going to keep alternating that. So front loop, back loop, back loop. Let me pull some more yarn out of my yarn ball here. Front loop, back loop, back loop. So I will make this pattern available on my Etsy store, which is benjaminkrudwig.etsy.com. I will post the link in the description for you. As well as I will put the abbreviations in the link as well. Or not in the link, but in the description, because you're going to start reading patterns probably. And all books, all patterns have a standardized abbreviation code. And that way, if you want to, look at some other patterns after you learn this, you'll know what to do. And I'll put in the abbreviations for other stitches as well that you learned last week. I did post those in the last video description, so feel free to check that out. And after I'm done with this row, I'll keep talking to you. Now it's really silent, but I already explained last video that it's so you can understand me better. Alright, so front loop and front loop. Alright, so you're going to do that 40 more times and then finish in a single crochet, which I'll do that right now. That way I have another foundation in here. So you'll just finish in a single crochet across, in a regular single crochet. So you're going through both loops of the stitch. And then I'll talk to you about putting the border on. So when putting on the border, you're going to have to round the edges, because if you don't add another stitch in there or something, you're going to end up with a box, basically. And you don't want that. You want this to lay pretty flat. Oops. Another thing, if you make any mistakes while you're crocheting, on this first project, don't worry about it. It's really easy to pull stitches out and pick up again with crochet. And also, mistakes sometimes can be good mistakes. And they're not always, a bad thing, and they make a first project an awesome project, so you'll always remember that first project. Another thing is that this is a great gift. The washcloth pattern is a great gift for anybody. You can buy some handmade soap on Etsy and then crochet a couple of washcloths and give them as a gift for a coworker or family member. And it's a lot of fun, and everybody loves handmade gifts. And these are high quality handmade gifts as well. Another thing to mention is to always use 100% cotton when doing anything like washcloths or towels, because it stays soft and it gets softer over time, and it's really easy to clean. So you don't have to really worry about wool felting in the washing machine or anything. So you can somewhat see the texture that started in here, where you have some raised ridges and some that aren't as raised. To finish this, I'm just going to make a chain, cut about 5 or 6 inches, pull all the way through, and tighten. So that leaves you a little bit of a tail here and another tail here, and those will get taken care of once you finish your border. So the border, I'm going to bring in the chocolate brown color. Again, you don't have to use these colors, they're just the colors that I chose. I'm going to start in the middle here, just so I can get to the corner faster. So you just put your hook through a stitch, pull the yarn through a little bit, and then yarn over, or basically do a chain stitch, and in that same stitch that you just pulled the yarn through, you're going to do a single crochet. The cool thing is that with this little tail here, you can hide that just by crocheting around it. Just act like it's part of the stitch. So you put your hook through your stitch, also underneath that tail, yarn over, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through both loops, and just crochet right around that tail. That's how you hide the tails of things pretty well. If not, if you can't do that, just take a needle, like a tapestry needle, and pull that excess through. So, see, I basically hid that entire thing. You can cut off those extra bits there, but I hid that string. So I'm just going to crochet, single crochet, up until I get to that corner, and then I can show you, oops, there. See, even us experts mess up every now and again. That's okay. That's what happens. So I'm almost to the edge here. Alright, so this is the last stitch, right? So what you're going to end up doing is crocheting 3 single crochets into this stitch. So one basically finishes that horizontal row. The second one turns the corner, and then the third one starts another row, basically. When you're crocheting, you're going to see there are gaps in your crochet. That is okay. You're going to single crochet into each of those gaps, and then I'm in the third row almost again. So just single crochet 3 into that corner, and then single crochet around into each of those gaps, and then continue along as far as you need to go. If you see, I'm able to hide those tails by just crocheting right around them. And